Hey, what's up? We're going to talk about real quick how to shoot a recruiting video. And I think this is a very important video for juniors and seniors out there who need a recruiting video for baseball to get the eyes of the college coaches and scouts that might not get them at some of the tournaments they're playing in. But what I do see is I see a lot of recruiting videos done wrong. So we're going to talk about exactly what you need to do to get the attention of those college coaches and scouts the right way in your recruiting video. But before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Seed Sack. Seed Sack is a sack that you put your sunflower seeds in so that your teammates' grimy hands don't get all up in there. So if you guys are interested in getting a custom seed sack or a seed sack of your own, you can head over to the link below and grab your sack. So let's talk about a recruiting video from a pitcher's perspective first. As a pitcher, you want to show the angle just off to your arm side. So not straight behind you, but just slightly off to your arm side. That shows the best movement of the balls. You also want to throw a few pitches of each of your pitches good. Okay, so make sure you get a couple good ones of each. Now you don't want to throw when you're editing those, you don't want to throw all your bad pitches in there. You want to throw your best pitches in there and put your best pitches first. No matter what position you are, you always want to put your best thing first. So if you're a super fast guy, then you want to put your 60-yard dash first. If your fastball is your best pitch as a pitcher, since we're talking about pitching, show your fastball first. If your curveball is your best, show your curveball first. You want to get the attention of the coach first because they're only going to watch a split second of it and make a decision whether this guy can play for our school or he can't. Then if they say, oh, this guy can play for our school, then they'll continue to watch a little bit more. But it's that split second, those first 4 or 5 seconds in the video that they're going to make a decision and continue watching that video or shut it off and go to the next one. Okay, so you got to make sure you put the best of the best first. Okay, so again, for a pitcher, throw a couple good ones of each pitch from that back angle, but slightly to your arm side so you can see the movement of the ball and how the catcher's catching it. And then also I like to get some from the side, straight 90-degree angle in slow-mo, just 1 or 2 so they can see your mechanics because some coaches like that. But again, I wouldn't put that in the beginning. That's something later in the video for coaches who like that. Now let's say you're an infielder, okay? You want to get some balls, ground balls in the infield. You want some right at you, some rocket shots, some to your glove side, some to your backhand, slow rollers. Again, we're not trying to make this video 10 minutes long. You want to keep it short and keep the best stuff in there. Edit it when you have someone edit it, or if you're going to edit yourself, make sure you edit it quickly to the next play, okay? You want to keep the coach's attention as much as possible. Now let's say you're an outfielder, same thing. You want to show some fly balls, you want to show some balls to your side, balls on the ground that are that you're charging. You want to show your throws, okay? Also, I forgot to mention on the infield, you want to show your throws an angle that shows your throws to first base. So I usually do 2 angles. One, following the ball off the bat to the player, and then also one angle from kind of behind the player to show the fielding and the throws to first base. Now, outfield, same thing. You want to show the fielding of the outfielder and also the throws of the outfielder. You can usually do this from the same front angle just because you're going to get a few throws to third and a few throws to home. Now let's talk about a catcher. As a catcher, you want to show your receiving. You also want to show your throwdowns are a big one for catching, as well as your blocking. Those are a few big things that they want to see from the catchers, okay? Now, one thing I do for the catchers, the throwdowns, and also the 60-yard dash is you can have your editor put a timer in there, just like you would with a stopwatch. You can have them put that in your video to show the speed of it. Now, the coaches who are watching, if they really want to, can grab their stopwatch and just record on the do the time from the video, but why not make it easy on them and put it in there so they can see and decide if that's good enough or not for their school. So if you're doing your pop times as catchers, when you edit it, put the little stopwatch clock in the video so they can see whether you're throwing, a 2.5 versus a 2.1. Even if you're pinpointing the balls down to second base, a 2.5 is going to be a big difference versus a 2.1 or 1.8 or whatever it is. So that's something to add in there. Again, you're blocking. You want to do balls right at you to your glove side, also to your hand side. Just showing your range as a catcher and how well you block those balls. Also, just a few receiving and some balls in front of you like bunt plays, okay? Now, I talked about the 60-yard dash. My guys, I only recommend that they leave it in if they ran well, what they think is good. Again, you know, you want to be in the low 7s, high 6s. Obviously, the faster the better. But I would say if you're high 7s, leave it out. Just leave the 60-yard dash out because you're doing more harm than good. Remember, you want to put your best stuff forward. So maybe you're a mid 760, which isn't terrible, but it's not great. So then you would put the 60-yard dash at the very end of the video versus the beginning, okay? So, for example, I just had a guy out the other day. He did pitching, fielding, hitting, and the 60-yard dash. His 60 wasn't great, so we're going to put the 60 later on. It was like a mid-7, so we're going to put the 60 later on in the video, in the recruiting video. His hitting was really good that day, so we're probably going to put the hitting first. Then we'll put his fielding, and then we'll put his pitching. So depending on what you did well that day and what shows good on video, that's how you want to structure it. Again, because you want to put your best foot forward to capture that coach's attention. Does that make sense? Now, we didn't really talk about hitting. What do you want to do for hitting? Hitting, I like to get an angle not straight behind, but kind of off to the side, 2 different angles off to the side. So it kind of shows out to opposite field and out to pull side field, so that you get all those good hits while you're hitting your BP. I also like to, just like in pitching, get that 90-degree angle for a few of them, a few shots, just for those coaches who want to see the mechanics, who are into that kind of thing. That, to me, isn't necessarily a huge factor, but some coaches like to look at that, so I like to throw it in there later in the video, maybe at the end of hitting, like after the hitting clip ends, real quick, 1 or 2 swings of the mechanics from the side. Same thing with pitching, only 1 or 2 from the side. Again, that's one big thing I want you guys to get across is a lot of these videos I see are way too long, like 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long. There's no coach gonna watch that whole thing. Nobody's gonna watch that whole thing. Your mom's probably gonna have a hard time sitting through that whole video, right? So you wanna make it as quick as possible. 1 to 2 minutes showing your best stuff quick, and edit it quick so that it goes from one thing to the next. Keep the attention of the person watching it. Otherwise, they're gonna say no. Get their attention first by putting your best stuff first, and then editing it quickly to the next thing, so they stay on it to the end and say, this kid can play for our school, right? So that's just a few tips for how to shoot your baseball recruiting video. Now there's editors out there. You can find a video production team, Google them up, or you can go to Fiverr.com, and there's some great editors there for real cheap price. So you can search that up, or you can do it yourself. I mean, everyone's got computers now with the iMovie and little editing things that you can do. YouTube even has one. Actually, I think they're taking it away soon, but you know, there's plenty of ways you can do it. And you don't need any really fancy stuff. You just need to jump cut it, which means cut it after the pitch happens, go to the next one. You know, so you don't need any fancy transitions or anything like that. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It just has to showcase your best skills first and keep the attention of the coaches. That's it. That's the main part of the recruiting video. So I hope that helps. I hope I answered everything. Leave me any questions you have about a recruiting video. If you guys are in the Orlando area and interested in getting a recruiting video shot, I have a team that shoots my YouTube videos, and they'll come out and shoot it, and we'll edit it, and we'll get it all nice and ready to go, so you can send it out to your college coaches. So again, if you have any questions, let me know down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.